Hello and welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, that VidBlaster guy. Time for another exciting episode in the long-running series of that VidBlaster guy. If you go back to the early series, you can see that VidBlaster guy before he had gray hair. We've been running that long. Just teasing, just teasing. It is a treat to be here with you today. We're talking about VidBlaster version 4, which has had 2 betas released on it within the last, maybe 10 days. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. That's the end of that comment. If you're watching us live, thank you for watching it. Join in the chat room, please. Looks like we got a bunch of rowdy guys in the chat room today. You know, they're going to have to behave. We're going to stick the mods on them. But regardless of whether you're watching live or watching on YouTube, you need to know, full disclosure here, hey, I am an authorized VidBlaster reseller. I can sell VidBlaster to you, a license, or I can sell the upgrade to you, or I can help you upgrade from version 2 to version 4, or from the Pro Edition to the Home Edition, whatever it is. You can go to our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, and get more information there, or you can shoot me a note, tom@thatvidblasterguy.com. Glad to help with whatever your needs may be. We also build custom PCs for broadcasting, so if you're interested in talking about that, we're the high dollar guy. We're not the low dollar guy, definitely. When I build it for myself, it's the cheap one. When I build it for you, I'm building the best stuff I can. So that's the way that's going to go. But hey, let's talk some version 4. More 4 with VidBlaster. VidBlaster 4 has got more good stuff. We were just chatting in the chat room before, in pre-show, about some of the cool things that are going. One is called that VidBlaster is now DPI aware. DPI aware. That's dots per square inch. Thank you, Martin. And that has to do with the monitor. So if you're doing a screen capture, you're not going to lose as much detail now that VidBlaster is DPI aware, because VidBlaster is going to adjust based on what it perceives the DPI to be. So if you've got a high DPI, it's going to give you a better resolution. VidBlaster will kind of ratchet itself up in order to get you that good resolution. So that's going to be fun. In fact, we're going to play some with the screen capture here in just a minute. It's like, you know, don't talk about it, Tom. Show it to us. Show it to us. So, hey, I need some help. I need a volunteer for next week's show to help me demonstrate the dynamic watch ability of the overlay module. So if you would like to create some overlays and dynamically send them to me so that they can be dynamically updated dynamically on our dynamic show, drop me an email, tom@thatvidblasterguy.com, and we'll talk about how to do that. I'm hoping one of these nuts in the chat room will help me with that. Okay, so DPI aware, yes indeedy, and future demo on the overlay module. We're going to demo some stuff in just a second, but let me cover a new beta of VidBlaster 4 was released since our last show last week. So we're up to VidBlaster 4.06. Now, the difference between 4.05, which was the first beta in the 4s, and 4.06 is really kind of incremental, just fixing a couple things that popped up in version 4.05. 4.05 promised that you would be able to now stream to Streaming Praise TV integrated into VidBlaster, and that was completed in version 4.06. So if you're using Streaming Praise TV to stream, you want to take a look at VidBlaster's ability to do that as one touch to make that life easier. And I think there is a free version of VidBlaster that you can get if you sign up for Streaming Praise TV. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's the case. If not, I'll correct it in the show notes. But definitely go to Streaming Praise TV and see if you can find out about that. Let's see, what else did we want? Oh, I know. In version 4.06, the the diagnostics module, which was previously only a version available in the broadcast edition, is now available in the studio edition, which means if you're trying VidBlaster for the first time, you get the studio edition, which is also called the trial edition because it has a little watermark kind of right down in here somewhere. So you'll be able to see what the diagnostics module looks like. And the diagnostics module, in fact, I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like this right here. So you can see that it has some waveforms, and it has some charts, and it can tell you what the CPU cores are doing, and what the clock is doing, and what the cameras are, how they're doing. And if you know how to use it, which I don't, but I should, you will know how to be able to make the diagnostics module work to your benefit. So that is now available in the trial edition, which is also the studio edition. And in fact, the signal generator module is also available there too. So if you're into tweaking, you will enjoy playing with that, I suspect. I think this is a fairly big change, and it kind of slipped under the radar because it was in version 4.05, and I didn't even see it. Previously in the version 3s, in order to get to the beta features, you had to hold down the control and the shift key on the left side of the keyboard and then click the module menu or the view menu in order to show the beta features. In 4.05, all those previously beta features are now just show up whenever you click modules or view. So the playout controller, which would be on the view menu, the screen capture module, which would be on the module menu, and the tally lights module, again, module menu, all appear when you just click modules or view without having to click anything else. I'm guessing, I don't know this for sure, but I'm guessing when we get to a release of version 4, that some of the beta features may be hidden back again in the beta feature section, the control shift section. So we'll keep you up to date on that. But for now, the playout module, the screen capture module, and the tally lights module, excuse me, it was playout controller, this screen capture module and the tally lights module are all easily available. If you have versions Home or Pro, you won't be able to see the playout controller because that's a edition studio and broadcast feature only, but I think tally lights and screen captures are available to everybody indeed. Let's talk about the screen capture module. No, let's don't. Let's talk about upgrades. If you have purchased or upgraded your VidBlaster within the last 365 days, you can get an upgrade to version 4 for free. And let's talk a little bit about that. Version 4 is not a release, but eventually a version 4 official release will come, and it will be, more bulletproof than the current beta of version 4 is. And let's say your 1 year runs out next week. Here's a trick that you want to try. Before you do anything, verify that you have your product key. That's the key that you got from VidBlaster or from me when you first purchased your license. Then double check that you've got the activation key, and that's the key that you got when you registered your software and you sent it off. You sent an email off to VidBlaster with some codes, and VidBlaster sent back the activation key. Keep the activation key and the product key. Copy them down somewhere. Do a screen capture, cut and paste, whatever. Write them down. These are as your version 3 product key and your version 3 activation key, because you'll need that if you need to revert back to version 3 for any reason. Let's say, for example, that you want to upgrade because you're running out of time to upgrade for free. So you upgrade tomorrow, version 4, and you activate it. It is not as easy to go back to version 3 as it was to go forward to version 4. So you'll need that product key, which I think, I think it'll be an old product key. It'll be a version 3 product key and a version 3 activation key that you will need in order to revert back to version 3 should you ever need to. So what I'm suggesting is that you go ahead and retain that information for version 3, make your version 4 upgrade so that you've got the version 4 product key. And if you like version 4, go ahead and stick with it. But if you don't, revert back to version 3, and you already have credit for, you've already got the version 4 product key. So when version 4 is ready to go, and that might be 3 weeks, might be 3 months, when an official release comes out, you'll have that free version 4 product key, and you can go back up to version 4 at that point if you want. So claim your 1 year if you're close to it. I think I've emailed all my clients that were within a couple of weeks of that 1 year so that they wouldn't be surprised by having an expired 1 year free activation or free upgrade. I call it upgrade protection. Upgrade protection. So if you bought with VidBlaster or you upgraded VidBlaster within the last 365 days, you are protected, but don't let that pass by without you getting your protection like you need. Okay, let's see. Let's go to screen capture. Now, screen capture is really pretty cool. Screen capture used to be a function of a camera module. In fact, Camera 1 module, Camera Roman numeral 1, the very first edition, the first rendition of the camera module, did a lot of cool stuff. You could do an IP camera with it, you could do cameras of course, and you could do screen captures by, kind of dragging on the screen and outlining, the area that you would like to be able to capture. Well, with version 4, the old camera module went away, and with it the IP and the screen capture functions, and a new camera module, which used to be called Camera Module Roman numeral 3, which is now Camera Module Roman numeral 1. Are you making notes? You're going to be tested on this later. Anyway, the new Camera Module 1, formerly Camera Module 3, does not have a screen capture or IP camera function in it. So the screen capture ability was picked up by the screen capture module. Well, that makes sense. Screen capture module to do screen capture. And it does a pretty darn good job. And in fact, it's not really, I think screen capture is a nice name, but really it's a window capture, which I think is even cooler because you can capture a window. And within the window capture, you can crop it. So it's a little different from doing it the old way. With the old way, you would just pick a point, drag your mouse across to form a rectangle, and then bow, you would capture whatever it was. It was a portion of a screen, a portion of a window, whatever. The screen capture now recognizes kind of what the windows are here and there. And in fact, let me show you what a screen capture module looks like and see if I can do this right here. Let's see, and let me just zoom in a little bit more on that screen capture module. Don't pay any attention to that little screen capture module below it. Well, let's see if I can move that out of the way. And we'll turn off all these graphics. So we've got this module, and we can right-click it. And whoops, looks like all that stuff went out of the way. We're going to have to give ourselves a little bit more room. Right-click it. And the windows that we have available are the VidBlaster broadcast, which is the window that you're looking at right now. We have the VidBlaster 4.06 beta. That's basically a Chrome window that I've got up. We've got the Wirecast profile, which is how we're streaming and recording today. And then we've got Windows Task Manager. Let's switch over to Task Manager. And you can see there's my Task Manager. And that shows what's going on in that window. I've actually got a drop-down box here where I can select all the ones that I want. we'll go back to the beta module right there. And so I can pretty quickly go from screen capture to screen capture. Now these are, whoa, there go, went to infinity there. These are simply the windows. If I want to crop it, I have to go into the crop feature, and let's crop the left side. I have to select pixels. Let's see, is that going to, yeah, there we go. So I might select, 40 pixels. I don't know about you, but I think this is a pain in the butt. I want to go back to the old drag and drop, or at least have the ability to crop it using a common crop feature like you might find in, any Windows version of video editing, camera edit, software editing, video, graphic editing software out there in the whole world. You know, let's make this a little bit more common in the way it works, instead of having this kind of clumsy crop feature right here. Smooth resampling, of course, has been switched over from the camera module because it gives us the ability. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see. Let's go to that window. Yeah, there we go. And let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to cut off the smooth resampling so you can see the difference in the text. The text is more readable with smooth resampling turned on. And I think you notice that the waveform was more readable there too. So as we go back to the module, you can see smooth resampling is just simply turned off and on. Transition is what we've begun used to, a hard cut and 3 different dissolves. Display size allows us to change the size of the module. Info tells us what's going on with the module. In this case, that we've got a crop going on there, and that we've got the module as a screen capture, so not much information there. And then we can clear the module, and we can remove the module. So if I clear it, basically it just goes blank, and I can select something else from there, and then we're back in business. Whoops, maybe I can't select something from there. There we go. Let's try it again. All right, looks like a little bug there. When you clear it, you can't go back to the one you were in. So we'll make a note of that. So we got a little bit of work to do with this guy, but this drop-down feature I think is really nice, because that means, you know, on the fly for folks that are doing the kind of work that I'm doing, you can select what you want. Let's go back to our regular scheduled program right here, and we'll get me in there like you needed to see me. But the ability to select from there is really pretty neat. Now, one of the other options, and I don't have a Skype window going right now, I'm not Skyping with anybody, but earlier I Skyped with myself. I tell you what, you're hard up if you have to Skype with yourself. And so I captured the window. And this is a Skype window of, you know, my kitchen wall with my laptop looking at it. And you can see that the laptop has a 4.3 resolution camera built into it. It's an old laptop, but it just keeps on plugging. Anyway, that's why the blue bar is on the right side and the left side. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner the sending camera. And then, you know, in the image you see, you know, 2 little white dots in the top left-hand corner. Those are smoke alarms and burglar alarms, and then a TV hanging on the wall, and then a picture below it, and a lampshade above that. I mean, that's what was actually in the image. But there were 2 images available in the screen capture. One was that image, and the other one was that image. And I thought it was kind of interesting. I'm going to go back to the other one, and you can see the difference. There's just a little bit of cropping going on. Notice how the sending image in the bottom left-hand corner and the alarms at the top left-hand corner kind of get cropped out a little bit. And the aspect ratio change. I don't know if the aspect ratio changes or not. It kind of feels like it does, but maybe it doesn't. Whoops, that was my other room. I think what happens is, you notice the black bars on either side. Essentially, the black bars are being cropped out, but it adds black bars top and bottom. So obviously this has got a little more polishing required, and frankly would benefit by the drag and drop crop that we came to know and love with Camera One. But it is promising. And again, I think, and I haven't tried version 10. I'm a little reluctant to put a 10 on here at this point because I understand you can't go backwards from it if it doesn't work. But Windows 10, I understand, has borderless windows. So this looks like this is really geared up to take advantage of that when the time comes. It's nice to see this stuff kind of getting done in advance. Let's see. Screen capture, drop down list, screen capture, cleanup list, screen capture, Skype. Yeah. So, and the guys in the chat room are agreeing on the crop that they don't like to use numbers. And frankly, the numbers is a guessing game. Until you've done it a bunch of times, the numbers are, how do you know whether you need 40 pixels on the left side or 400 pixels on the left side? So when you crop, and it probably depends on your monitor too. Now that VidBlaster is DPI aware, it may change from monitor to monitor. So an image that'll work with me on 40 pixels cropped off the left may have to be 80 pixels cropped off the left on you because you have the high-end, high-dollar monitor, and I've got the old cheap one right here. Just teasing, but that's probably true. So we'll see. It's a beta. They throw features out and say, okay, how can we rub some of the rough edges off? What do we need in it that we don't already have? What's not working right? And obviously, since the very first VidBlaster 4 beta was 4.01, no, it was 4.05. There was 4.01, 02, 03, 04, so there were 4 renditions that floated around before 4.05 came out. VidBlaster used to release virtually every beta to the wild. And starting with version 3, I think, they started doing some what they call private betas, where there's a small group of maybe 8 or 10 folks who agreed to do some specific testing in order to get the betas to the point where they could go into the wild, and then we could get all the oddball problems, which I love, oddball problems. So that's a little bit of background on the VidBlaster version 4 and the whole idea of how VidBlaster does betas. Coming up, because I think that's about completes. Yeah, Timothy's saying in the chat room, Windows 10 should be released the end of July. So that's a couple of months down the road. We'll have to see. And we'll be testing Windows 10 with version 4 of VidBlaster as soon as we can. I'm working on something. I think it's going to be fun, and I'd love your input. And I'm going to switch over. Yeah, there we go. Email address, tom@thatvidblasterguy.com. I'm thinking about doing a summer shootout, and we'll probably do it under the moniker of our Streaming Idiot Show, which is the next segment coming up here in a few minutes. And I want to look at the streaming software that's out there, because it's becoming very good, very advanced, very feature-rich. And there's VidBlaster, of course, my first love. There's vMix, there's Wirecast, and then there's kind of a second tier of others that folks use with gaming, or I think there's a free version of something out there that's an open system, and then a couple of VidBlaster knockoffs and other things that are out there that have I guess you would say a smattering of usage. But I'd like to get the big 3 and do a summer shootout, and do a great comparison show, probably at an evening show in the U.S. where we can get some aficionados on, maybe one VidBlaster guy that's not me because I want to be the commentator, and a Wirecast guy and a vMix guy. Wouldn't that be fun? And you're not allowed to talk bad about the other software, but you can talk about what your software will do and how it will do it. And so we'll probably come up with 10, maybe 12, maybe 6. It just sort of depends. Or maybe a combination of sort of basic and advanced functions that somebody that's in the streaming business, whether it's professionally or whether it's as an amateur or as a representative of your church or your school or your civic organization, or just you doing a political show. What's important to you in terms of features that you would want to see in the software? Now, for folks that haven't ever done streaming before, it's kind of the basics. I want to be able to take cameras and switch them. I want to be able to overlay graphics. I want to be able to record. I want to be able to stream. I'd like to be able to show pictures. I'd like to be able to show video. Those are sort of the basics, and I think all three of those softwares, all three of them do those things well. And then you kind of jump into the second tier that's a little bit more complicated, and then the third tier, which would include things like instant replay that are not functions that you would need in a church environment or a talk show environment. Nobody wants to hear what I just said repeated again in slow motion. That would be way too bizarre. Anyway, so that's what we're thinking about in terms of a summer shootout. If you've got some ideas on that, I'd love to hear them. Tom at thatvidblasterguy.com. If you feel really comfortable with VidBlaster and would like to represent VidBlaster in that show, let me know. I will consider your application, and we'll see. We'll see. So I think we've covered all the bases here today. Thank you. If you're watching us on YouTube, hooray that you came to the end of the show. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And if you're watching live, stick around because we got another segment coming up. Hey, we release the VidBlaster Guy shows on YouTube, to YouTube on Wednesdays, because we record them on Wednesdays, live to tape, as they used to say. And then Streaming Idiots, which is our second show today, our second live show today, we generally release on Fridays. So if you'd like to watch the Streaming Idiots show, as soon as it's done, you either have to watch it live or you have to wait till Friday, or you can sign up for our exclusive video content list on our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, right here. Boy, that left to right thing always gets me. And we'll send you a notice in advance, because even though we're not releasing it till Friday, we upload it before Friday. Sometimes we'll tweak it and change the description and all that kind of stuff, but you get to see it kind of the way it is when we first upload it. So if you're interested in that, sign up on easternshorebroadcasting.com for exclusive video content, and we will send you a note on that. And remember, if you're interested in upgrading, you can get information there at Eastern Shore Broadcasting. You can shoot me a note at tom@thatvidblasterguide.com, and we can talk about it. By the way, just a little another second. Can we go over time just one sec? Okay. There's really not anybody there. I just thought that was fun. If you're upgrading, and upgrading is actually a manual process. It's not handled automatically, because somebody needs to actually verify your license, that it is you and it is the correct license number before they issue an upgraded product key. And that can take anywhere from an hour on an amazing day to 2 days, especially if there's a weekend involved. So if you're upgrading and you need to upgrade, and it's like, oh, I've got to have this feature for tomorrow, well, you're probably already too late. So don't try to upgrade on a timeline. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time, because certainly also when you upgrade, you want to make sure VidBlaster is going to do what you need it to do in the way that you expect it to do, or that you have time to learn how to make it do what you need it to do in the way that it's going to do it. So, full disclosure, don't box yourself into a corner. Give yourself plenty of time if you're going to do the upgrade. And I'd be happy to help with that. So that's it. That's it for today's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. That was More on 4 is what we're calling this show, More on 4. Tune in next week when we have probably a little more on 4 and who knows what else. Thanks for watching, and if I can get out of this show, I'll try to do it. We can get out gracefully. There's got to be a way to do this. Oh, here it is. See ya. Take care.